the golden era of Motown, a saga unfolded that was as captivating as the music itself. This was a time when rhythm and blues were the heartbeat of a cultural revolution. Amidst this backdrop, two of Motown's most luminous stars, Diana Ross and David Ruffin, found themselves entwined in a narrative that was as much about soaring talent as it was about intense rivalry. Diana Ross, with her unmistakable voice and commanding presence, led the Supremes to become synonymous with the Motown sound.
First I was afraid, I was petrified.
Her journey from the humble beginnings in Detroit to the pinnacle of global fame was marked by a relentless pursuit of greatness. Parallel to her ascent was the rise of the Temptations, a group whose soulful harmonies and smooth choreography captivated a generation. David Ruffin, with his raw, emotive voice, became the standout lead singer, driving the group to new heights.
When it's cold outside.
This era was more than just a chapter in music history. It was a reflection of the times. The civil rights movement was reshaping America, and Motown's music became the soundtrack of this transformation. The label, founded by Gordy, was a powerhouse, churning out hit after hit and turning its artists into household names. However, beneath the veneer of success and harmony, there were undercurrents of competition and discord. The rivalry between Ross and Ruffin was not just personal, but emblematic of the broader tensions within the music industry. It was a clash of egos, ambitions, and visions playing out on a stage where the stakes were as high as the notes they hit. Let's dive into the feud between two iconic artists, a window into a defining era of music, a time when the sounds of Motown reverberated far beyond the confines of a record studio, echoing through the annals of history. The early 1960s marked the genesis of a musical revolution, with Motown Records at its epicenter. In this vibrant landscape, two groups emerged, destined to become legends: the Supremes and the Temptations. The Supremes, initially formed as the Primettes, saw Diana Ross, Mary Wilson, and Florence Ballard harmonizing their way into the hearts of America. Diana Ross, with her distinctive voice and charismatic stage presence, quickly became the focal point of the group. Under the guidance of Motown's visionary, Gordy, the Supremes transcended their humble Detroit origins, charting a course towards unprecedented success. Their music, a blend of pop and soul, resonated with a nation undergoing profound social and cultural changes. Simultaneously, the Temptations began their ascent to stardom. Originally known as the Elgins, the group underwent several lineup changes before David Ruffin joined, bringing with him a gritty, soulful voice that would become the group's signature. The Temptations' smooth choreography and stylish suits became as iconic as their harmonies, capturing the essence of the Motown sound. Songs like My Girl and Ain't Too Proud to Beg not only topped the charts, but also defined a generation. As these two groups rose to fame, Motown Records became more than a music label. It was a cultural phenomenon. Gordy's vision of creating music that appealed to all, regardless of race or background, was materializing. The Supremes and the Temptations were at the forefront of this vision, breaking racial barriers and bringing the Motown sound to mainstream America and beyond. Their music was a unifying force, bridging gaps in a society rife with segregation and inequality. However, the path to stardom was not without its challenges. The competitive atmosphere within Motown, fueled by Gordy's relentless pursuit of perfection, created a breeding ground for rivalries. Diana Ross's ambition and determination to succeed often put her at odds with her peers, while David Ruffin's bold and assertive nature led to friction within and outside his group. The stage was set for a clash of titans, as these two formidable personalities, each leading their respective groups to dizzying heights, began to cross paths more frequently. The rivalry that ensued was not just a battle of talents, but a reflection of the intense pressure and high stakes in the world of Motown, where maintaining one's position at the top was as challenging as getting there. As the 1960s progressed, the paths of Diana Ross and the Temptations, particularly David Ruffin, began to intertwine, setting the stage for a complex interplay of collaboration and competition. The Supremes and the Temptations, both enjoying the limelight of success, were often brought together for Motown's collaborative projects. These joint ventures were strategic moves by Motown to showcase its finest talents. However, beneath the surface of these collaborations, there brewed a tension, a silent battle for supremacy within the Motown hierarchy. Diana Ross, already established as the star of the Supremes, was known for her ambition and her close relationship with Gordy. Her rise within Motown was meteoric, and she quickly became the label's leading lady. This ascendancy was not without its share of controversy, as it often came at the expense of other artists. Ross's determination to succeed and her willingness to align closely with Gordy's vision made her both a favored and envied figure within the Motown family. On the other side were the Temptations, with David Ruffin's soul-stirring vocals leading the charge. Ruffin, known for his charismatic yet volatile personality, brought a raw energy to the group that captivated audiences. His voice, rich and emotive, was the perfect foil to Ross's polished performances. The Temptations' success was a testament to their talent, but it also set them on a collision course with Ross, as both sought to claim the top spot in Motown's glittering roster. The pivotal moment came during a concert where the producers decided to change the key of the Temptations' hit, "I Know I'm Losing You," to better suit Diana Ross's vocal range. This decision, seemingly minor in the grand scheme of musical arrangements, was a spark that ignited the smoldering tensions. For Ruffin and the Temptations, this was not just a technical adjustment, it was a symbolic gesture that underscored Ross's influence and the preferential treatment she received. Ruffin's response to this change was seen as a direct challenge to Ross's standing in Motown, a public display of dissent in a world where image and harmony were carefully curated. This incident marked a turning point in the relationship between Ross and the Temptations. What had been a simmering rivalry now burst into open conflict, setting the tone for their future interactions. The concert incident was a manifestation of the underlying power dynamics within Motown, where artistic decisions were often intertwined with personal and professional rivalries. As Ross and Ruffin navigated these turbulent waters, their feud became a symbol of the struggles faced by artists in a rapidly changing music industry. In the aftermath of the concert incident, the dynamics between Diana Ross and David Ruffin, as well as between their respective groups, the Supremes and the Temptations, shifted dramatically. The alteration of the song key at the concert, seemingly a minor tweak for technical compatibility, had far-reaching implications. It was perceived as a blatant favoritism towards Ross, further fueled by her close relationship with Motown's founder, Gordy. This incident was not just a clash over artistic direction, but a symbol of the underlying tensions within the label, where the balance of power was often skewed in favor of certain stars. David Ruffin's reaction to the key change was seen as an act of defiance, a challenge to the established order within Motown. His boldness in confronting this issue head-on resonated with many of his peers, who had felt overshadowed by Ross's meteoric rise. Ruffin's stance was emblematic of a growing discontent among artists who felt marginalized or undervalued in the face of the label's promotional strategies, which heavily favored Ross and the Supremes. The feud between Ross and Ruffin began to take on a life of its own, transcending professional boundaries and becoming deeply personal. It was a battle of egos, with both artists at the peak of their careers and unwilling to yield ground. For Ross, the challenge from Ruffin was a threat to her status as Motown's leading lady, a position she had worked tirelessly to achieve and maintain. For Ruffin, it was about asserting his and the Temptations' rightful place in the Motown legacy, a recognition of their contribution to the label's success. The ripple effects of this feud were felt throughout Motown. It created divisions within the label, with artists and executives often forced to take sides. The collaborative spirit that had been a hallmark of Motown's early years began to wane, as the focus shifted to managing the escalating tensions between its two biggest stars. This period was marked by a series of confrontations and disagreements, both in the studio and on stage, as Ross and Ruffin vied for the spotlight. The conflict also spilled over to the fans, with supporters of the Supremes and the Temptations often finding themselves drawn into the fray. The rivalry became a topic of discussion among music enthusiasts, further amplifying the discord. The feud between Ross and Ruffin was no longer just an internal matter within Motown. It had become a public spectacle, a reflection of the intense competition and high stakes in the world of popular music. As the feud continued, it began to shape the careers and public images of both Ross and Ruffin. Their interactions were closely scrutinized, with each encounter between them or their groups adding fuel to the fire. The narrative of their rivalry was now a defining element of their legacy, a story of talent, ambition, and the complexities of fame in the high-pressure environment of the music industry. The feud between Diana Ross and David Ruffin, emblematic of the larger power dynamics at Motown, had implications that extended far beyond their personal animosities. It was reflective of the intricate and often contentious relationships within the label, a microcosm of the music industry's broader struggles with fame, creativity, and control. At the heart of these tensions was Motown's founder, Gordy, whose vision and business acumen had catapulted the label to unprecedented heights. Gordy's close relationship with Ross was well known, and her meteoric rise to stardom was often attributed to this special bond. This perceived favoritism became a source of contention within Motown, creating a divide among the artists. Ross's position as Gordy's protege granted her opportunities and privileges that were not afforded to others, leading to a sense of resentment and injustice among her peers. David Ruffin, with his bold personality and undeniable talent, emerged as a vocal critic of this imbalance. His defiance against the perceived preferential treatment of Ross was not just about personal grievances. It was a stand against a system that many felt was skewed towards certain stars. Ruffin's actions resonated with other artists at Motown, who admired his courage to speak out, but also feared the repercussions of challenging the status quo. The feud also highlighted the challenges faced by artists in maintaining their artistic integrity within the commercial confines of the music industry. Decisions that were ostensibly about musical direction often had underlying motivations, influenced by marketing strategies and personal relationships. This reality was starkly evident in the concert incident, where the artistic vision of the Temptations was overridden to accommodate Ross's vocal range, a move that was seen as undermining the group's artistic autonomy. Moreover, the rivalry between Ross and Ruffin had a tangible impact on the internal culture of Motown. The label, once a close-knit community of artists collaborating and supporting each other, began to fracture. Collaborations that had been a hallmark of Motown's success became less frequent, as the focus shifted to managing the egos and demands of its top stars. This shift was not just a loss for the artists involved, but for the music itself, as the creative synergy that had produced some of Motown's biggest hits was diminished. The feud between Ross and Ruffin, thus, was a reflection of the complexities of the music industry, where talent and ambition often collided with business interests. It was a story of two extraordinary artists caught in the web of fame and power. Their rivalry a testament to the challenges faced by artists in a world where commercial success and artistic integrity were in constant tension. As the feud between Diana Ross and David Ruffin intensified, it reached a crescendo that resonated throughout Motown and the wider music industry. This chapter of their story was marked by a series of incidents and confrontations that not only highlighted their personal animosities, but also underscored the intense competition and high stakes of the music business. The rivalry between Ross and Ruffin was no longer confined to the walls of Motown's recording studios or the stages where they performed. It spilled into the public domain, becoming fodder for the media and fans alike. Each public appearance, interview, or performance was scrutinized for signs of the ongoing conflict. The feud had become a spectacle, with each artist's actions and words closely watched and often interpreted through the lens of their rivalry. One notable incident that exemplified the height of their feud occurred during a televised performance. Ruffin, known for his flamboyant and unpredictable stage presence, used the opportunity to assert his dominance, overshadowing Ross's performance. This act was seen as a direct challenge to Ross's status as Motown's leading lady. Ross, never one to shy away from a challenge, responded in kind during subsequent appearances, using her star power and charisma to command the stage. These public displays of one-upmanship were more than just personal battles. They were symbolic of the larger struggles faced by artists in the music industry. Ross and Ruffin, both immensely talented and ambitious, were navigating a landscape where image and perception were as important as musical talent. Their feud became a metaphor for the struggle to maintain relevance and supremacy in an industry where the spotlight was always shifting. Behind the scenes, the feud took a toll on their personal and professional relationships. Collaborations between the Supremes and the Temptations became fraught with tension, and the once cordial relationship between the two groups was strained. The discord also affected the dynamics within Motown, with other artists and executives often finding themselves caught in the crossfire. The peak of the feud between Ross and Ruffin was a reflection of the cutthroat nature of the music industry in the 1960s and 70s. It was a time when the lines between personal and professional were blurred, and rivalries often played out in the public eye. For Ross and Ruffin, the feud was a defining aspect of their careers during this period, overshadowing their musical achievements and shaping their legacies in the years to come. Their rivalry, while detrimental in many ways, also served as a catalyst for change within Motown. It highlighted the need for a more equitable and transparent system that recognized and nurtured the talents of all its artists. The feud between Diana Ross and David Ruffin was not just a personal conflict. It was a symbol of the challenges and complexities of life at the pinnacle of the music world. As the tumultuous 1960s gave way to the 1970s, the careers of Diana Ross and David Ruffin, each marred by their intense rivalry, entered new phases. Their feud, while remaining a significant chapter in their histories, gradually ceased to be the focal point of their careers as they embarked on different paths. Diana Ross, having firmly established herself as Motown's leading lady, began to explore opportunities beyond the confines of the Supremes and the label. Her departure from the Supremes in 1970 marked the end of an era and the beginning of a successful solo career. Ross's transition to a solo artist was met with both anticipation and skepticism. However, her debut solo album, which included hits like Ain't No Mountain High Enough, quickly dispelled any doubts about her ability to shine on her own. Her solo career not only showcased her versatility as an artist, but also her resilience in the face of the industry's ever-changing landscape. Ross's journey was a testament to her ability to adapt and evolve, traits that had been crucial in her rise to stardom. David Ruffin's path, however, took a more turbulent turn. His departure from the Temptations in 1968 was fraught with controversy and marked by personal struggles. Ruffin's solo career had its highs and lows, with hits like My Whole World Ended the Moment You Left Me, highlighting his enduring talent. However, his journey was overshadowed by personal demons and conflicts, including struggles with substance abuse and tumultuous relationships. Despite these challenges, Ruffin's impact on the music industry and his influence on the soul and R&B genres remained undeniable. The later stages of their careers were reflective of their individual journeys in the music industry. For Ross, it was a story of continual reinvention and success, not just in music, but also in film and on stage. For Ruffin, It was a tale of unfulfilled potential and personal battles, a stark contrast to his earlier successes with the Temptations. The legacy of their feud during the Motown years continued to linger in public memory, often overshadowing their individual achievements. It served as a reminder of the volatile nature of fame and the complexities of relationships within the music industry. The rivalry between Ross and Ruffin, while a defining element of their time at Motown, was just one chapter in their storied careers. Their paths post-Motown were emblematic of their resilience and vulnerability, highlighting the triumphs and tribulations of life in the spotlight. The legacy of the feud between Diana Ross and David Ruffin, set against the backdrop of Motown's golden era, is a complex tapestry woven with threads of talent, ambition, and the harsh realities of the music industry. This chapter in their lives, while marked by discord and rivalry, also serves as a poignant reflection of the era's cultural and social dynamics. The impact of their feud on music history is multifaceted. On one hand, it underscored the competitive nature of the industry, where artists often found themselves pitted against each other in the race for fame and recognition. On the other hand, it highlighted the challenges faced by artists in balancing their personal identities with their public personas. The rivalry between Ross and Ruffin was not just a personal conflict. It was emblematic of the broader struggles faced by artists in an industry where image and talent were inextricably linked. The feud also played a role in shaping the public's perception of both artists. For Diana Ross, it reinforced her image as a determined and ambitious star, willing to do what it took to maintain her position at the top. Her ability to navigate the complexities of the industry and emerge as a successful solo artist added to her legend. For David Ruffin, the feud painted a picture of a talented but troubled artist whose personal struggles often overshadowed his musical genius. His tumultuous tenure with the Temptations and his subsequent solo career were marked by incredible highs and devastating lows. In retrospect, the rivalry between Ross and Ruffin can be seen as a reflection of the changing landscape of the music industry during the 1960s and 70s. It was a period marked by significant social and cultural shifts, with music often serving as a mirror to these changes. The story of Ross and Ruffin, with its blend of drama, talent, and conflict, is a microcosm of this transformative era in music history. Moreover, the feud's impact extended beyond Ross and Ruffin, influencing the careers of other artists at Motown and shaping the label's legacy. It highlighted the need for a more equitable and supportive environment for artists, where talent and creativity could flourish without being overshadowed by internal politics and rivalries. Today, the legacy of Diana Ross and David Ruffin stands as a testament to their indelible impact on music and culture. Their feud, while a significant part of their story, is just one aspect of their larger contributions to the world of music. Their journey through the highs and lows of fame, set against the backdrop of Motown's heyday, remains a compelling narrative in the annals of music history. It is a story of two extraordinary talents, whose rivalry and achievements continue to resonate with audiences and artists alike. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.